Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this, whether it be live or recorded. So, warm welcome to my Saturday live where it's interactive. Yes, I'm looking for you to comment, engage, and chat with me. Don't forget to hit the like button, the like, the love, the comment button. Share with me your answers to the questions that I asked to you in regards to this submitted topic or question that was submitted. Is having more responsibility in life good? I'll read the full version here in just a moment, but yeah. So Saturday, it's 18 degrees. Feels really kind of cold here. Um, it feels a little cold. Yeah, probably another. Thanks for the heads up. I think it was David that gave me a thumbs up. Thank you. Yeah, it feels a little cold, but yeah, I'm enjoying today. So let's knock this out with a cool quote to kind of summarize what we're going to pretty much go over today in this submitted question, how I would approach it or coach around it in a roundabout way. This is obviously not a way to coach. Coaching is more me asking questions and the coachee providing what insights that come up for them, really looking for helping them find the answers inside of themselves versus finding the answers outside of themselves. I do text coaching, where I text everybody in the morning kind of what rises to my heart, what feels important for me that day to send out and have them be aware of, turning up their awareness, their knowledge, their understanding of how their mind thought work. But anyways, I have one of my clients that she's amazing. She engages with me very well, and the fact that she really listens and really asks questions and is really curious. And she's noticing that with things that she's facing right now, she's really turning to food to seek comfort. And that again is going outside of herself to find a solution, right? And I think all of us have done that. Food is so accessible and so that instant gratification. And so it's really about knowing how when you have a negative feeling, how to navigate that in a way that you feel powerful. And so, but I encouraged her via text message this morning, and I think that there was a big aha moment, big insight. So, just again, tiny little example without giving you all the details of how I work with my clients. I work with them via text. I work with them via phone calls. That's probably the most common question: is how do I get coaching? Is it in person? Is it on video? How is it done? I used to do video coaching, but I found even just recently, just doing some video stuff, it wasn't necessarily coaching, but in other spaces, and that technology can really throw a wrench in the whole process, right? Really make things complicated. And my days can be really stacked. I can have 6 clients all throughout the day, pretty close together, giving myself space to recharge, reboot, hydrate, eat, whatever. But my days can be really stacked. And if there's any technology issues on my side or their side, it can add to this, can add some frustration or some negative vibes or energy throughout on me. And that will always come through in the coaching session. So I really like to create a space that's really safe for my clients, voiding out as much technology issues as possible. Even though with a phone, I had some technology issues 2 weeks ago, and I think it was because of my computer. I'm hopefully getting a new computer. It's being built right now, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So, might go back to using VoIP, but I went back to using my personal phone for coaching calls because technology, when it works, it's amazing. When it doesn't, oh my gosh, everything. So I'm happy that you guys are here. I see a few of you on board. Okay, so the quote: your attitude and your mindset can make all the difference in how your day could be. So when you hear that quote, what comes up for you? Your attitude and your mindset can make all the difference in how your day could be. So your attitude and your mindset have such a tremendous effect on everything, right? How you think, how you feel, what you do, right? Or don't do, right? If your attitude is in the gutter, you're going to do less. If your attitude is really coming from a space of gratitude and appreciation, I think you would do more. So I'm curious of what comes up for you hearing that quote. Type it in the chat. Your attitude and your mindset can make all the difference in how your day could be. And granted, we all have days where we are on cloud nine and days where we're feeling totally off. But what's the difference between the two? Attitude determines your altitude. I love it. Thank you, Facebook user. I think you're in the Facebook group. I can't see names. It always bums me out. That's something that I want them to fix. But I think because of the filtering, because of the way I'm on multiple platforms at one time on Streamlabs, I think that's a barrier that they haven't figured out to work around. So I apologize. I don't see your name. But what is the difference between a day where you're on cloud nine and a day that you're feeling off? What would be the difference? Thinking with all things even, right? A good night's sleep, you're taking care of your health, you're taking care of, what you're eating and hydration and movement or whatever really. But what is the difference? If all things considered equal, what is the difference between a cloud nine day and a day where you're feeling just a little bit off? So, again, taking optimal care of ourselves. I was chatting with somebody this morning about prioritizing sleep. I used to have this way of being or an identity with being a night owl, and I believed it so much that I probably repeated it in my mind every day. I'm a night owl. I'm a night owl, and even would say it in conversation. I stay up late to whatever. And back when I was a night owl, I don't think social media was a thing back then, but movies were a thing, I think. I don't know. What did I do? I think I just wanted to just stay up, like, and resist it. It was like this rebellion thing. I don't know. Like, what was going on in my mind? I have no idea. It's been so long now. But I guard my my nighttime rituals to with every thread of my being. I really love being in bed at the same time every night and waking up naturally without an alarm. That's so important to me. But what is the difference between a day, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a rotten stinking day and 10 being, the best day ever? What is the difference between a 10 and a 5? Your attitude, right? But another word for attitude is or another definition of attitude would be how you think, or a word would be mindset. What thoughts, what stories are you focused in on? What are you paying attention to? What is top of mind, right? All of these things have a tremendous impact on your energy, has a tremendous impact on how happy and joyous and how much you enjoy the day. Um, yeah. So have you ever looked at someone that's maybe a 10, right? They're in a good mood. Maybe they're in a good mood every time you see them and they have this charisma and this magnetic attitude and energy and maybe you wonder what's so unique about them that has them be that way, right? I used to wonder that about people that I'd run into. It's like, why? What has them being that way? What is so unique about you? What's going on here, right? So I can make it really super simple for you to understand, and that's their thoughts, their stories. What thoughts and stories do they cling to? What thoughts and stories are they wedded to? What do they cultivate in their minds? You choose to have your attitude determine your altitude. On days when you are off, you can choose to flip the script. I love it, Brian. Thank you for being here again and chatting. Yeah, you can totally flip the script of your movie, right? You can flip the script to your book, your stories, what you're creating in your mind. I work with a wide range of individuals. I work from people that are struggling to find an employment. I work with philanthropists. I work with people that are really struggling with life, and I work with high performing athletes and high performing career business professionals. I work with a wide range of individuals, and there is one unique difference between those that are struggling and those that are excelling, and that's how they think. That's one major difference. Major difference. So, anyways, how are you feeling today in one word? Or, what word rises to the top for you and where you're sitting right now? What's one word to describe how you're feeling? Whether you're live or whether you're watching this on the recording. Brian says, some days when I'm having that super awesome number 10 day, I also have learned to temper it and manage it around others who may or may not be struggling. And you would temper it because, kind of curious, what's the reason for tempering it? Thank you, Brian, for engaging. I feel like you're one of my biggest fans on these lives, or the bravest of them all. Curious at what's the reason for tempering it. But again, here from Spokane, Washington. I love it here. Moved here approximately 6 years ago. I guess it'll be 6 years in August. I have to do the math again. I've been saying 6 years, I feel like for a year. I think I had it off. My daughter's like, "No, mom, it's been 5 years." But, love it here. Absolutely love it. You can be in the wilderness if you want, or you can be in the city if you want. You can go to a fine dining if you want, or you can go skiing if you want, all in the same day. I love it. Such variety. Such variety. So wherever you're tuning in from, chiming in from, feel free to put that in the chat, what country, state, city you're in. Love to know where you're tuning in. It could be annoying to have that always on person. I've been there. I appreciate it when some people would tone it down a bit. Okay. So you're modifying yourself for the reasoning that you're, how do I word this? Concerned about what they think of you. Thinking that they might think you're annoying. You know, that's a choice. That is a choice, you know, reading the room. Yeah, I like that. Reading the room. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that makes sense. Tempering it, as long as you're not being something you're not, right? I guess that's what I'm curious about. Are you trying to be something you're not? Are you, filtering yourself? Are you putting a mask on? Are you putting up a wall? Because any of those things, people feel it, people sense it. I think being genuine and authentic and being inspiring is a strength, right? I think I understand where you're coming from. It's a means to read the room and kind of be at their, not at their level, but not be so completely polar opposite, right? Being completely different. But there's a way to do it in a way that inspires people to go, wow, I really want to be like Brian. I want to be like Brian. I want to have this charismatic being, this happiness, this what's going on with Brian, and maybe that can, and they won't probably say it to you, but maybe that might be the light bulb moment where they go, wow, I need to do something about my life. I need to change something, fix my blind spot, right? Doesn't change my 10 day, but it can bring up the others by meeting and being there on their level. Yeah. I don't know if you need to be on their level, but if you're it just depends, right? Yeah. Reading the room. Totally get it. That makes sense. Thank you for engaging. That was really cool. So if we haven't met, I'm Catherine Hood. Call myself a happiness coach, which is a fun way of saying I'm a life coach. I coach a variety of people on helping them figure out what happiness is for them, helping them define it, but helping them achieve it. And that's in a variety of different ways, in relationships with an intimate partner, or it could be relationships at work or in your business or your leadership, or I can also work with you in a space of achieving goals. I've helped clients write books and do all kinds of things that they felt was way outside of their comfort zone. and help them navigate those waters, that journey, go along with them through that journey, and enlivening them and empowering them to be able to navigate it in a way that feels really good to them and accomplish it, right? Get them through the finish line. So, but I support a wide range of individuals and groups, holding space for them, allowing them to vent and voice what's going on in their life. I support them in a way that I hold space for them and accountability if that's what they're looking for, and reinforce what it is that they really want in life. I listen deeply to people in the way how they describe things, how they're experiencing things, and help them get unstuck, right? So, for me, coaching has completely changed my life. 180 degrees changed my life. I wish I would have had coaching. Well, I actually, in a sense, did get a coach back when I was an insurance agent. He didn't call himself a coach. That really wasn't a term that was used a lot, even though coaching's been around for a long time. It just wasn't a well-known name. And was he a coach, or he yelled at me a lot? He was probably more along the lines of a mentor than a coach. But anyways, yeah, coaching is very transformative. If you've never experienced it, I highly encourage you to experience it. I absolutely love it. I don't consider it work. I consider it fun. I learn more from my clients, I swear, than my clients learn from me, even though they probably would argue that. But I deeply love coaching. So last week we talked about how do I push myself without beating myself up. That was the topic. So if you haven't watched that, it's recorded and saved somewhere on this platform that you're watching this. And if you haven't, please give me a thumbs up and comment as long as along the way. Engage with me like Brian has so graciously. Thank you. And if you have a question that you want me to do on one of these lives, feel free to submit it. I have a podcast too where I do this sort of thing, not in an engaging kind of way, but in a way that saves a lot of content, and you can kind of hear my style of coaching or nudging, if you will, and on an amazing variety of topics. And I'm building on that. I'm really aiming for 100 once we move, which is going to be definitely by March 1st, and get settled in, which might take a little bit of time. Once I get settled in, I'm going to do a podcast a day. I have enough content to do that. The time is the factor. But I want to go on a 30-day, one podcast a day challenge myself, stretch myself. So I'm really excited for that. I would love it if you'd support me in that. But today's question, I'm going to go ahead and read it. And it's not very long. It's pretty short. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is a submitted question. Is having more responsibility in life a good thing? I wish I lived a softer life. I loved it when I had no responsibility. I'm leaving a job with minimal responsibilities for an opportunity and pay, but it's way more hectic with way more responsibility. Everyone is telling me it's better that I have more responsibility in life, and that's better. Besides, I don't really have a choice as I can't afford to live on the pay I'm currently getting. But is that better? Why is more opportunity better? Does it really lead to more fulfilling life? Is more responsibility a good thing? What a great question. Actually, several questions in there, honestly. And if this is you, and maybe some of this sounds familiar, or maybe all of it is, or maybe you know someone that's gone through this, kind of sounds like to me you're feeling forced in making a job change and you're feeling unsure. There's some uncertainty pivoting, but it kind of sounds like your back's up against the wall, which is never a good feeling to have. Right? This ambivalence of this is familiar. I'm used to this. I'm changing to this, and I don't know if I'm going to like it or I'm going to enjoy it. So, and which is kind of funny that I say it that way because that's how the brain works. The brain loves what feels good and what feels familiar. So to me, that's what kind of stands out in this. And it's interesting that in this submission, they're stating over and over again that everyone is telling me it's better. Well, who's everyone? Like, what does that mean? But I want to hear from you. What words do you hear in that submission? Now, It could be your own words. It doesn't have to be the words that are being used. Maybe it's just a summary in one word, what you're hearing in a feeling word. So for me, it would be feeling unsure, resistance, worry, concern, looking for advice. And it's very outside in. Okay. So with coaching with me, I'm very much about inside out. And so that's what stands out to me as very outside in. And I really work with my clients in learning to live their life from the inside out. And if you're watching this and you're a client of mine, you really know what I mean by that. But there's a point to me pointing out the feeling words. It's really about awareness because there's a lot of information in the feeling words and a lot that's not being said in the feeling words and a lot to discover and poke around and explore in the feeling words. And the other thing is we can't fix what we don't see. Okay. So as an individual, if you're feeling like this person is feeling ambivalent between two things, like I'm being forced to go from what feels comfortable and familiar to what doesn't feel comfortable and familiar, it's really about exploring that with curiosity. Okay. So it's really about looking at the feelings and understanding that the feelings are an indication of what thoughts are going on, whether they hear them or not. Okay. So that's whether it's conscious or non conscious. So it's really having you really identify what thoughts are creating these feelings because that's what creates your experience. And if you're wanting to have a different experience, there's a really easy solution. You got to change your story, change your thoughts, change your perception. And I know that seems complex if you've never done this before, but it's really easy. So if I was coaching this individual, I would wonder what a softer life means. And they did state, less responsibility, I think is how it was worded. And I can also guess based on the other questions and a little bit of assuming here, you would want life to be easy, manageable, consistent, back to the certainty, right? Familiar, low level, low stress, low responsibility, low pressure, low, you know, maybe it's like assembly line stuff. I don't know, right? So in coaching, there's a lot of exploring, a lot of me basically removing off my assumptions and my perceptions and my life and my reality and kind of like going to a blank slate. Like, paint me a picture. What does this mean? What does a softer life mean for you? Okay. So I'd want a lot more clarity on what does a softer life mean for them and what fears and worries and concerns are there moving from one job to the next, right? Because there's fears and worries and concerns happening here that they're not saying in this statement. So we would need to touch on those. What are those? The other thing that comes up to me is the word wrong. So what is this person making, is this a wrong choice? What makes anything a wrong choice? What makes anything a right choice? Right? What is the where are these words coming from? What do they mean? To me, working with a lot of individuals, it's a judgment. That's all. It's a judgment. And the judgment comes from your mind and your brain trying to keep you safe. Right? There's a fear here. There's a safety zone that you're going outside of. It's scary. That's all. So, what will asking more people, including myself, to get advice get you? Right? So, if you're asking me and asking all your friends and everyone is stated in there, what is more advice going to get you? Probably more confusion, more thinking, more worry, more anxiety, more layers, more things to sift through, more mind sped up, more more anxiety. So where are the answers for this situation or any situation? They're inside of you. No one else is going to know the answers as well as you. You know yourself better than anyone. And what I do know is when we focus on what's wrong, when we look through a lens, the glasses of what's wrong with this situation, what's wrong with my life, what's wrong with this world, what's wrong with this town, what's wrong with this state, what's wrong. If we look at anything through the lens of what's wrong, you'll find it. So that's a choice for you to look at things through the lens of what's wrong. It's a choice to look through the lens of how is this an opportunity? How is this going to be exciting? Of course, use your own words, right? I always encourage my clients to come up with their own words. You can look at this as a bummer, and you're going to look at this as being forced to take on more responsibility, being forced to do something you don't want to do and start dreading it. And it's going to feel that way before you even start the job. So, which version serves you? The version that could look at this from a standpoint of what's wrong with the situation, and you'll find proof of it, or the version seeking out how this might be the universe or God, whatever you believe in, pushing you to be stronger, better, smarter, whatever, pushing you outside of the comfort zone, stretching you. So, which one serves you? Which one will create a sense of empowerment, the sense of feeling like you're a little bit in control and feeling on top of the world, thinking, wow, this I've outpaced this job. I'm now looking at a job that's going to challenge me more and be more exciting and pay me better. What attitude or sense of empowerment will prepare you to face this challenge in a way that, or this challenge or this chapter in a way that feels really good? Good morning, Ben. Thank you for chatting. So where do all your feelings come from? Where do your feelings come from? There's many things that can give you the illusion or have you start to believe that a job can make you feel busy or stressful. It's just an illusion. One important factor is how we see and understand the tasks and the duties of the job, how we see or understand, or the stories, or how we think of a job. So the story we create in our minds about the job can greatly impact how you feel about it. Greatly. So, for example, if we view a certain task as overwhelming, impossible, hard to do, what does that do? That increases because you view it that way, you see it that way, you think about it that way. It increases that experience of stress. It's all thought created. Stress is a thought created experience. The task itself, the job itself can't inject feelings into you. So, in addition, external factors such as workload, deadlines, workplace dynamics, drama in the workforce, the hecticness, it's all thought created. It's a choice to believe that. I know it's a slippery, seductive slope to believe and point fingers and blame it on the job, but that's all an illusion. These things, these situations, circumstances, people can't inject feelings into you unless you believe that. And if you believe that, that's great because you're a slave to them now. So, finding ways to manage your stress and maintain a positive outlook can help you alleviate some of that pressure and make the job feel manageable. And what this does is this builds grit, tenacity, and resilience. You're able to cope and navigate through each and every hurdle. So ultimately, it's important to recognize your mindset and your attitude, how you think towards your work, your job, career, business, whatever it is, significantly influences your experience. So carefully select your attitude in every situation. So what's an attitude? It's your thoughts. It's what gives you the strength and the power and excitement and joy and happiness, whatever you want to describe it, right? And I want to say too is no one can determine what an opportunity is or means to you but yourself. Continuing to ask other people, what does this mean? What is an opportunity? All this stuff. It's you. This is your life. You've got to look through your own lens. Stop asking for external validation or what other people believe. This experience that you're going through, this life is yours to live. Ideally, it's sitting in a space where you feel safe, quiet, at peace, and sit with yourself in a space of no thinking. Turn off your mind and just sit and look inside of yourself for your own answers. Because when I reflect on this person's submission, you're moving forward with this job no matter what, it sounds like. So, how can you frame this story to be one that has you feeling like you're choosing this? A sense of control where you feel strong and capable and brave and courageous. How can you frame the story that this is an adventure? This is exciting. I don't know. You use your own words. And also in the submission, there's this question about what does fulfillment mean? Well, what does fulfillment mean to you? No one can describe that for you. Even if you look up the definition of fulfillment, that may not align with what you believe it to mean. That's for you to decide. And I'd also be curious to how do you manage responsibility? How do you manage that? How do you manage that in a powerful way? You see some people thrive and find with greater responsibility. That's exciting. While others crumble. But guess what the difference is? How they think about it, how their attitude is. It's all about how you think. I'd also be curious, so what if maybe you're looking for happiness in a job, right? Because it sounds like to me there's a lot of comfort, a lot of softness, as you said, or ease in this last job that you had. Is that happiness? And also get this sense that there's this paradigm, I will be happy when things are easy. Okay, and that might be real, that might be true for you. So and I would want more clarity on that. Because happiness is not in a job. Happiness is not in a safe, easy job. That's not happiness. That's external again. That's pointing fingers and blaming a job for giving you that happiness or not giving you that happiness. So that's external again. So I'd really want to help you, encourage you and shift your mindset and unlearn that because that's a learned belief and unlearn that and learn how to cultivate and create happiness internally because no one can take that away from you. So, anyways, those of you that have watched this from start to finish, or if you've jumped in midstream, what is your takeaway? What are you hearing? What's empowering you? And again, I'd love it if you'd submit your own questions to me. You can submit them through chat. Amen. Thank you. Never thought of that. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for chatting. Anyways, go do something courageous today. Be brave. Do something fun. I'm here to support you. Submit your questions. Continue to submit your questions. Like I said, I'm on a soon, probably in about 30 days. I'll have a 30-day. I have enough content to do 30 days, but I always love new stuff, especially if it's my viewers. My clients always come first, though, that submit questions. They do in between coaching sessions because they'll go, ooh, I want Catherine to answer this, but I don't want it to be used on a paid session. So they'll submit questions to me. And that's free, right? So I do these free. They love it too, because then they can listen to this over and over again. But anyways, thank you very much. I'm going by through. a rough time. Oh, okay. Please do email me, Ben. Yeah, reach out to me. Happy to help you in any way that I can. Hang in there. I'm here for you. So, all right. Thanks again, Ben. Have a good weekend, guys, and I'll see you hopefully next week. If I'm still here, meaning moving. Like I'm in the midst of everything, and I'm thinking the last week. I know for sure the last week I won't be here, but I'll take that week off just to kind of get settled in. But I still should be here next week. So, anyways, see you then. Bye.